Welcome to another instalment of the CarpFix session film. It's late February and you're joining me at Blasford Hill Fishery in Chelmsford, Essex. It's a small day ticket fishery that I've fished, I don't know, since I was 15, 16 years old. Loads of carp in here, 300 or 400 I believe, loads of 20s, I think 20 different 30s at the right time, and a venue that's got great winter form. Now normally, you know, most years, most situations, the main island in the main bowl is one of the best areas where I've consistently caught fish for as long as I can remember. Now, two anglers have arrived to fish today and they've taken sort of one of the sort of my favoured zones as such, somewhere where I would have definitely have looked to start with. There's another good swim that fishes out to the island opposite called the Chair. A good peg, again, a good area all times of year, especially in the winter. But that said, you know, we've had an awful amount of rain recently, so much so that the River Chelmer that runs beside the lake has burst its banks and it's actually pushing loads of water into the corner of the lake. Now, the whole lake has gone chocolate brown, which I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But what I do know is that when water comes into a lake in sort of any amount, carp, being the inquisitive creatures that they are, often investigate that. And I've done really well at all times of year fishing to sort of water coming into a lake, fishing to a pipe, fishing to inflowing water. Now, I haven't seen anything. That's the biggest problem. You know, we've got here at first light. I'm going to take my time, have a little look around. But if we don't see anything concrete, anything definite to set up on, then I think starting where the water's coming in is as good a bet as any. Oh. Right then, still no factual sightings of carp, like 100% to go on, and because sort of my normal default area around the island is already occupied, I think this bay with the water trickling in the corner is probably a good starting point. But that said, I'm going to fish off the barrow to start with. Rather than get the bivvy up, get properly installed for a session, I'm just going to get the rods out, flick them out, a little bit of bait over the top, and just see what unfolds. Maybe get some liners, maybe see something and cement the location that there are fish in the swim. But if not, be able to throw it all back on the barrow pretty quickly and be able to move. So yeah, a little light installation. So setting off to come to Blasford Hill, I set off early in the morning to get onto the gate before it opened. And I couldn't believe my eyes when there was a car ahead of me in the queue. I never like to be out-keened, and unfortunately, you know, just the way the cookie crumbles, the angler in front of me had the same idea and headed straight for what is my default area on the nature bank of Blasford Hill. Now at that point, obviously I was looking for fish, didn't see any immediate obvious signs. However, there was some water running in to the bottom of the deep bay, and the water was coloured there. I know fish are attracted to that, and it seemed like the ideal place to start. I've turned into a hermit where I've not been outside. Can't handle the outdoors. So thinking. Right, well, I've just got my tackle box out and sort of contemplating what I'm going to cast out, and one has showed. Oh look, the fish! Carp, 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 carp! Quick, get it, 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 boy! There you go. About 20 yards out towards Matey's umbrella over there. Not an area that I've caught from before, but I think a good sign that some fish are in the area. And yeah, a bit more urgency to get the rods out now. Here goes, here goes. Let's colour the water. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Just because I've got them here. Yes. A vision. I don't want my other rod out, come on. Well, didn't manage to get the third rod out. Put the first one near the little dot island where I saw one jump, catapult with a few sort of 10 millers over the top. And then I've cast one down the left near to where the water was coming in. And like I say, I was just getting the third rod ready and the first one's away. So yeah, good sign. We've seen two fish. One's jumped near the dot island, like I just said, and one jumped out to the right, just off the end of the point. So I think the whole location is pretty good. So let's get this one in. It's a great start, this. Great start. Come on. Oh, he's feisty. Go on. Yes, what a start. What a start. Well, a very, very nice start. Not your typical Blasford Hill fish. A lot of them in here are really ancient old commons, and this is one of the younger generation stockies that are coming through the ranks. Sure to be monsters in years to come, but like I say, a great start. I'm up the tree. Right then, the rod's back out. No clips, just freestyle, sort of plopped out next to that little dot island. And one of the beauties of fishing these really sort of small, intimate little lakes is you do not need to spom to get bait over the top of the rigs. Now, I've just got a few 10mm cell, just a couple of handfuls in my pocket. I'm just gonna, real light, little sprinkling in the area, not too much disturbance, but quite a few feed items. So the fish is back and the rods are all in position and we are waiting to see what will happen. But something I just want to briefly touch on is a question that we get asked all the time, especially on the CarpFix lives, is what do you do when you don't find any fish? When you arrive at a lake, you look round and you don't see anything. Now, obviously finding fish is the number one thing, you know, that's guaranteed. Factual information, you've seen something, fishing to that is generally the best course of action. Not always, because sometimes if you know the bigger picture and you know where the fish will end up or where they like to be, you know, that's that's different. You know, if you really know a lake well, sometimes you don't need to go looking for them. But that said, going back to the original question, you've arrived at a lake, you've looked round, you've not seen anything. What are you going to do? How are you going to make your choice? Now, for me, it comes down to the weather, comes down to the lake itself, it comes down to the features in the lake, it comes down to how many fish are in the lake. But obviously, you know, watercraft is just trying to look at something and ask yourself why. Why would they be there? Why would they likely to be there? And obviously on this session today, I've seen some water running into a corner, you know, something that on many previous occasions has stood me in good stead. As I mentioned earlier, carp are quite inquisitive, and at all times of year they seem to be very sort of interested in fresh water coming into their environment. So let's say, for example, I didn't have that and I was walking around the lake and I hadn't seen anything. What is something else that I'd be looking for? I'd be looking for areas that catch the sun, especially at this time of year. You know, late February, the days are pulling out, the temperature of the water is rising, and areas that receive a lot of sun can be worth looking at, especially so if they've got some form of sanctuary. If they've got reed beds, if they've got overhanging trees, snags, an old lily bed, anything like that structure-wise that the carp might like to be around. So yeah, on a lake like this, you've got a couple of islands, you've got areas where there's no swims that you can look at, but it's asking yourself the question of why would they be there? And then by process of elimination, if you haven't seen anything, you try an area, you see if you get any liners, you make a call based on what happens from there. So for example, I've seen 2 fish in my swim before we caught one, seen anything else since. Now, the fish could have gone off the feed, they could have left the swim, but you don't know that. And the only piece of information that I have at this moment is that the guy opposite has caught one since I last saw one in my swim, since I last caught one. So that is immediately making me keep my eyes on that area. You know, it's a known area where they like to hang out. The wind's blowing into that corner. So yeah, I'm definitely not thinking at the moment, I've caught one, everything's hunky-dory, I'm staying here for the next 2 nights. In fact, far from it. What I'm thinking is, I'm not sure if the fish are still here, asking myself, have they moved over there, keeping my options open before it gets dark. So yeah, we'll fish the day out. Maybe I might move the rods, like try new spots within the swim, just to get a gauge of what's going on. But I'm also looking over there because not only has he caught one, that is one of the best areas on the lake.